Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about the categories of disabilities and their ambiguities. First, on the categories of disabilities we have learning disability, attention deficit hyperactive disorder or ADHD. Then we have intellectual disabilities, behavioral disorders and physical disabilities and sensory impairments. Okay, now what is learning disability? Learning disability is an impairment of academic learning. It means that some students can learn very fast as other students do. Now here I wrote some three important things about this problem. The first one is assisting students with learning disabilities. Okay, in this we have to assist our students with learning disabilities depending not only on the nature of the disability, but also on the concepts of theory of learning that are guiding me every day. Okay, now talking about behaviorism reinforcement for ground strategies, I want to say that if we have to teach our students to repeat one thing many times, then it will become a habit. After that, our students will remember that thing, so for that reason they could learn. Okay, now talking about constructivism, mentoring, and the zone of proximal development, we can say that constructivism is the way in which our students build up the knowledge through experiences. Mentoring has to be with all the activities that the teacher is helping or the students. And the zone of proximal development is when students can develop very well their skills. Okay, now I'm going to talk about attention deficit of hyperactivity disorder. It is a problem with sustaining attention and controlling impulses. It is a problem very common nowadays and it occurs when students have misbehavior in a very bad way at home or as well at school. Now I'm going to tell you the causes of ADHD. Most psychologists and medical specialists agree that this problem affects in the nervous system functions. Research shows that ADHD tends to run in families with children, especially boys, of parents who had ADHD somewhat more likely than usual to experience the condition themselves. Now, how do we have to teach students with ADHD? For this problem, it's important to use medication in order to reduce this problem, but we as teachers are not doctors, so we have to choose a better environment in which the students feel comfortable and they can do actions or they can play very well with others. So for that reason they could less they misbehave. Now I'm going to talk about intellectual disabilities. Intellectual disability is the limitation that many students have in the cognitive functions and also in the daily behaviors. It is to have mental retardation. And now I'm going to say about how to teach students with intellectual disabilities. There are three specific techniques that can help in teaching students with this problem. The first is to give more time and practice than usual. The second is to embed activities into the context of daily life or functioning where possible. And the third one is to include the child both in social and in academic activities. Now, talking about adaptive and functional skills. One basis of selecting activities is to relate learning goals to students' everyday lives and activities just as you would with all students. Now I'm going to talk about behavioral disorders. Behavioral disorders are a group of conditions in which students perform highly inappropriate behaviors. In this case, the teacher has to use a very good classroom management. Also, it's important that the teacher plan a student individual educational plan with parent, professional, and authorities to, to keep the process and the results. Finally, we have physical disabilities and sensory impairments. Here we have two categories, hearing loss and visual impairments. Talking about hearing loss is when students cannot hear very well, so you have to be careful of that because maybe you don't realize that, but students can learn how to read your lips. So if the student is looking at your mouth when you are talking, is because that student has a problem with that. In this case, the student has to receive a special help or maybe a device that makes to improve that problem. Now I'm going to talk about visual impairments. Okay, visual impairments are problems with the eyes. It's when students cannot see very well even if they are using corrective lenses. Maybe for that problem you as a teacher have to set that student in a place that that student can see very well at the board or at the pictures you are showing. And you have just to include that student with the others. No more. And that's all. Thanks.